Okay, so the way this is supposed to work is there's going to be three pockets, one for each board. Alright, I'm hanging out at the boat today. I'm getting some work done, and what I got done so far is right behind me. These cockpit combings here. I just cleaned those with some teak cleaner, and we'll let that dry and then put some of the varnish that I used for the companionway, companionway right here, and get those all shinied up. The other thing I'm working on is a cover for the hatch boards. So companionway hatch boards go in right here, and normally what we'll do is we kind of set them here when we're not using them, but I have an idea to take them and store them upright like this, and then I'm going to make a case for them so they'll sit, the case will hang off the winch and the cleat in the back there, and then I can put them in there when we're not using them. So this is the material that I got to do this. This is I actually bought the wrong kind of material when I bought it. I bought it on eBay, and I bought a couple yards, and I wanted to buy the Sunbrella canvas, but I actually accidentally bought the Sunbrella canvas for use with upholstery, which is a lighter weight canvas. I think it feels smoother. It's not as hard as the heavy canvas. So I'm going to go ahead and use it anyway. I think it'll still work. So I've already got kind of the pieces cut out here, and what I want to do is see if they will fit with the hatch boards in there the way that I plan on using them. So I want to do a test fit here first before I get everything sewn together, even though I guess I already got it cut out. So the other thing that I'm thinking of doing is the bottom piece. I could keep the entire thing like a rectangle, but the hatch boards have an angle in them, so I was thinking of taking the bottom piece and putting that angle on there, so it fits on it fits in the cockpit against the bulkhead better. So I want to see what that looks like, and maybe try to mark that out so when I sew it together, I can put that angle in there. Okay, so the way this is supposed to work is there's going to be three pockets, one for each board, and there's going to be a 1-inch rolled hem on the top of here, so that will come down. And then this is the back piece here. What will happen is it'll have a 1-inch rolled hem along the side, but on the last roll, it will roll in and catch all of these. So the one thing I need to make sure is that all of these together, I have enough space height-wise to make sure that they all stay together. So those will all go together like that, and then the ones over on the other side will do the same thing. They'll all go together like that. So it looks like I'm going to have enough space, and then the last part will be the top, which will also have a hem on it. I'm going to put some Velcro on the top edge here so it can roll down and cover up the top. The bottom piece will be the same, except this thing will have the 1-inch rolled hem, and it will trap all those other pieces on there, so it'll look something like that. One thing I thought I would add to this is I have another piece here. This piece is going to hold a cushion. So I thought it would be cool that if I'm going to store those flat with the bulkhead, I would sew a cushion into the last one. So there will be some foam padding on this side here, and then it will be covered up by some another piece, and that will be the cushion. It's 1.5 inch foam. So these will sit up against the bulkhead, and the cushion will be there, so you could lean against the cushion on the bulkhead if you needed a seat. So all of these pieces here will end up being sandwiched together, and then under this hem when this hem gets rolled over. And then the last little bit here rolled over as well. Now the corners, because there's going to be like a lot of material by the time you get to the corners, what I'm going to try to do is a mitered corner. So it requires like putting an extra few stitches in here and then cutting off some pieces and then folding it up. So I'll try to do a mitered corner on all 4 corners. Now down here at this end, this was what I wasn't sure like what I'm going to do with this, whether I'm going to try to angle it or whether I'm going to just kind of leave it square and let it sit on the cushion, or leave it square and just let it sit on the seat like that. Now to hang it, what I'm going to do on the back side of this seam here is attach some webbing. So the webbing I'll probably start it at the bottom and then bring the webbing up until I get to the top of the cabin top, which is like 23 inches. So it'll come up 23 inches and then detach from here, and then there'll be another piece on the other side, and then I'll make an adjustable loop across the top so then they can hang. So that's what it looks like right now. It looks like it'll probably work the way I plan it to work. And of course, each one of these top pieces, they'll have a hem in there as well. Video editing, I'm back. It's 2 weeks later and I'm wearing the same shirt, coincidentally, and I'm going to check this hatchboard holder to see how it fits. Okay, so the water that you hear running in the background, I'm cleaning out the tanks, getting the antifreeze out of there. But here's the bag for the boards, and you can see the way I stitched it together just like I had planned, and everything seems to have fit. Then I left a flap big enough to fold over, and I got half the Velcro sewed on, and I got to sew the other half on right there, which I'll probably have to do by hand because this is a cushion here. So I made that so you can lean against it, and then down here I had some extra cushion material, so I made another little cushion. This is not, I didn't do a zipper on this one because I didn't have one small enough for it, so I just kind of stitched that together once I stuffed it in there. But you can see how it's made. Only a couple issues that I had with this when I was sewing, I had some tension issues, which I've noticed like with the Sailrite, it seems like you got to get perfect tension. But other than that, it turned out pretty good. The tension issues, what happened is I'd end up with big loops in the top stitch, but I ended up just taking those and pulling those through. It wasn't actually a skipped stitch because it's still hooked, but I ended up just pulling them through to the end. Other thing I need to work on is my back stitching. Sometimes my back stitching I get off the track of where I'm supposed to be going. And then other than that, the stitching turned out pretty good. One thing I do want to change though is when I put the strap on the back here, I made I guess the female side of the latch, I made it longer, or I made actually the same length as the other one. But I think what I need to do, I'm going to shorten this here and take the female buckle probably about over to here, and then I can just use the adjustment part of this, of the tail end, to make up the difference, because that doesn't give me a ton of adjustment with this. Right now I have it hooked around the winch in the cleat right there, which is probably where it will stay. But right now it's not touching the bottom. I decided not to make the angle on the bottom. I just kind of made it straight across, and that seems to work fine. But they each have their own compartment. The material turned out pretty good as well. I used the upholstery sunbrella versus like the canvas sunbrella, and it's a lot softer feel than the canvas, so it's more like a cushion than it is a like the canvas that you have on a Dodger or Bimini or something. So there it is. I think it worked out okay. My next project that I want to work on is that outboard motor there. It needs a harness on it. Right now that has that yellow webbing on there that's kind of faded with the sun, and I'm afraid it's eventually going to break. So I bought some webbing as part of the hatchboard holder, and I'm going to try to use this to make a harness for that. And I have a couple of buckles and stuff that I'll try to do that. And I actually brought the sewing machine with me today, so I'm going to try to get it mocked up how I want it to be, and then sew it, test fit it, make adjustments, and then so on. So I want to go ahead and try that out right now. Right, this is how real men sew, in the back of a pickup truck. Alright, so we just took the boat out for a little bit. I wasn't expecting any winds today because it was supposed to be like 2 to 5 knots range. It ended up being like 10 knots, pretty consistent out there, so it was pretty good enough to get out there. Of course, as winds do, they died down once we got out there and had to motor back. Put the spinnaker up again to try that out, and that didn't really help us much because we only had like 1 knot winds. What I think I got next, yikes. What I have next, this bag that I made for the companionway boards, I gotta sew the Velcro on the front of that so I can attach it. So I'm gonna take it home, sew the Velcro on there, and then bring it back to the boat. Right now, I have the sewing machine is still in the truck, and I'm almost done with the harness. I did some measuring and things for the harness for the outboard, and I'm going to take that back as well and do some additional sewing on that, and then that will be done. So that'll be 2 projects knocked out in a weekend, and I think I'm going to wrap up the video there. I'm going to try to keep this video kind of short. My last couple ones were kind of like way too long, so I think I want to try to keep them somewhere around 15 minutes, so we'll see how this one goes. I'm not sure how much footage I have yet, but that's all I got for this week. And we'll try to get out again next week, depending on weather and conditions and what else is going on in my life. But that's all I got for today. See you guys next time.